In the shadows of a dark, dreary, futuristic Gotham City, a radio crackles to life as a hovercar slices its way over the city streets. "Bruce, come in, it's Barbara," a voice says through the communicator. "How did you find me? And how did you get this number?" The rugged gravel tone of Bruce Wayne shoots back at her. "I was trained by the best, remember?" Barbara jokes with her old mentor. Bruce's face only grows darker. "I told you, I can't have any of you involved. Don't try to contact me again." But Barbara has heard that routine too many times before not to offer Bruce her help. An engineering specialist working for Powers. Barbara launched into the info she'd gathered. Looks like they had a falling out a few days after he resigned. McGinnis was found dead. He and McGinnis were working on something called The Project, but we haven't figured out what it is yet. Bruce replied curtly, "I'll find something." He clicked off the communicator, refusing to allow Barbara to deploy Robin to help him in any way. Maneuvering to the top of Powers' building, Batman and an unlikely ally began to formulate a break-in plan. "Our first mission together," Bruce's partner said. "Deep down, you got to be a little excited." Bruce's voice didn't betray one hint of excitement. "I can hardly contain myself, Joker," he said angrily. As the two unlikeliest of partners began sneaking through the facility, the Joker simply would not shut up. Of course, given that this version of Joker was actually an AI that only Batman could see and hear, the only person Joker was at risk of annoying was Bruce himself. But as the Bats and Joker were about to uncover some deep secrets, their computer crackled and died. "Nice try, Uncle Bruce." "Jackie!" Batman exclaimed as he turned to see a young woman with light pink hair standing above them. Bruce called out as he rushed to Jackie's side. "Are you okay? What does Powers want with you?" But Jackie clearly harbored anger towards her surrogate father. "You lied to us!" Jackie screamed. "You were supposed to be there, but then you abandoned us!" Bruce's face softened at her words. "Jackie, listen, I knew your father very well. Not just the Joker, but Jack Napier, the good man inside him. He loved you so much that he was willing to die for you. It was the only way to stop the Joker from hurting you and your brother." Bruce leveled his gaze at the child of the Joker and Harley Quinn. "If you really want to know your father, then let me take you back home to your mother. She knew him best." Jackie hesitated. "That doesn't explain why you abandoned us," she said. Bruce put a hand on the glass. "I shouldn't have done that, Jackie. It was wrong. It was selfish. And it's no way to treat people you care about." But before Bruce could break Jackie free from her prison, armed guards rushed towards Bruce. Joker's AI consciousness downloaded the files they needed onto the Bat computer while Bruce leapt into action, taking down the armed combatants. Within moments, all guards who had rushed into the room were groaning on the floor. And for a second, Bruce felt like his old self again. But the moment ended as soon as it began. "Jackie just ran off!" The Joker living in Bruce's head called to him. "And 3 more guards are headed this way!" With his cover blown, Bruce raced back to the getaway car, using the vents to move unnoticed and relying on Joker's interface to navigate the maze-like facility. Batman quickly worked his way to the exit. Ducking into a side room, Batman Beyond stood before his mentor and predecessor, staring Bruce down. "Mr. Wayne, please listen to me," Terry begged. But before he could say his piece, Derek Powers walked out from his hiding place, a legion of guards at his back. "I know you were behind the stolen suit, Derek." Bruce spat at the man. "It wasn't enough for you to steal my company and my city. You wanted Batman as well." Mr. Powers watched Bruce through cold, dead eyes. "We both wanted to protect Gotham from her enemies, but now there's a new enemy, Bruce," Powers said. "I know about the project, Derek." Bruce glared at Powers. "Then I know that you killed Warren McGinnis in order to protect it." Terry couldn't hold in his shock and horror. "What?" he cried upon hearing Bruce's accusation. "Don't listen to him, Terry," Powers pleaded with Batman Beyond. "He has no proof." But Bruce cut him off. "The truth is right here," Batman told Terry, holding up the memory stick Joker had loaded up with incriminating data. "Help me stop Powers and I'll give you what you're looking for," Bruce promised. Terry thought for a moment, but only a moment. He unsheathed 2 batarangs crackling with electricity and launched them into Powers' computers. Explosions rocked through the facility as the entire lab went up in flames. Derek Powers himself was trapped beneath a pile of green goo and slowly disintegrated as the acid ate away at his flesh. Bruce grabbed Terry as the two sailed through the air, landing hard as the facility around them went up in flames. "Bats!" the AI Joker called from inside Batman's consciousness. "Your anxiety is spiking. You gotta get it under control." Bruce was kneeling on the ground, unable to rise in his old age. His constitution wasn't what it used to be. While Bruce struggled to regain control of himself, Terry snatched the memory stick and darted off. "Okay," Joker braced Batman. "Hold on, buddy. I'm gonna try something, and you're not gonna like it." Suddenly, Bruce found himself looking in at his own body while Joker took conscious control over Batman's physical form. "You were losing control of your body, so I took over," the Joker explained as Bruce looked up at him, furious beyond recognition. While Bruce coached the Joker, the Ace of Knaves took Batman's body for a joyride through the laboratory, taking down guards and whipping around corners to reach the exit before Powers' guards had time to regroup. Eventually, the Joker and Batman made it back to the ship and took off into the Gotham City skyline. From the ground, Gotham Police Chief Dick Grayson tracked his father's escape vehicle as he watched it speed off into the night. As Dick waited to coordinate the fire department at the scene of the explosion, he glanced up at a nearby tunnel where he saw a familiar face from a past life. The Red Hood, silently watching the scene, took off into the city on his motorcycle as Dick watched his brother go. "Damn it," he said to himself. Batman and the Joker, still in control of Bruce's body, finally made their way to one of Batman's many safe houses on the outskirts of the city. Rushing out of the cabin came Harley Quinn, yelling, "Thank God you found her! Where is she?" Harley pleaded with Bruce to tell her. "The Wayne Powers building," Joker told his ex-wife through Bruce's voice. "You shouldn't have involved her," Bruce told the Joker as he watched, knowing that Harley couldn't hear him while he was trapped in his own brain. Joker sat down across from Harley and looked into her eyes for the first time in years. "There's something I need to tell you," he said. And suddenly the words wouldn't stop. "I love you, Harley Quinn," he confessed. Joker poured out all of his deep, loving feelings for Harley, who took a second after the Joker had finished to collect herself. "I love you too, Bruce," she said. "I might have blinded you with light, but you saved me from the dark," Harley said, and the two embraced in a passionate kiss. Bruce woke the next morning entangled with Harley on the couch. "What happened?" he yelled as he woke. "Morning, Bats," Harley said calmly. "I figured you'd regain control after Jack fell asleep." Bruce was shocked. "He told you what happened?" Harley grinned slyly. "Figured it out on my own, Puddin'," she taunted. "Last night, he and I said all the things we never got to say, including our final goodbyes," Harley told Bruce. "Jack isn't even real anymore. He's gone. You and I are real." Harley begged Bruce to let go of his ego and commit to her and their new marriage. "I have work to do," Bruce said gruffly, striding away. "You can't keep pushing people away, Bats," Harley called after him. "Don't call me Bats," Bruce yelled in frustration. After their fight, Bruce walked out into the garage. Once again, Bruce found himself in the one place he wished above all else he'd never have to be again. Alone. Meanwhile, Dick Grayson had tracked down his brother and cornered Jason for questioning. "I don't want to fight with you, Jason. Where is he?" Dick asked. "I'm flattered you think I'm working with Bruce," Jason smirked. "Means you know he trusts me more than you." But once Dick's partner threatened to arrest Jason's sidekick Gan, Jason aimed a fist directly at Dick Grayson's chin. "What kind of boy wonder shoves this city into a cage?" Jason leveled at Dick, who followed up with a punch of his own, sending the Red Hood into the pavement. "Ending crime in Gotham came at a cost," Dick told Jason. "You and Bruce weren't willing to pay the price. I was." Soon, the GCPD arrived under the command of Commissioner Barbara Gordon. To everyone's surprise, Dick handed Jason and his partner over to the GCPD without a fight, and Barbara took them both into custody. Back at the safe house, Bruce was still sulking to himself. Eventually, Joker's AI interface found enough courage to face him. "I'm inside your head, Bats," he told Batman, "so I know how you really feel about her. I was just trying to help." Bruce's face furrowed in anger. "How do I get rid of you? Tell me the truth." Joker stared back at him. "The program will end whenever you no longer need my help." From behind Bruce, Harley's voice cut through his conversation. "You two are finally getting along, I see. I assume you're not in here yelling at the dog," she said. Bruce's face softened when he saw her. "Listen, about before," he said. "I heard everything you said. You've given me a lot to think about." The two embraced, and Batman's faith in his relationship was renewed. Later in the dark of night, Bruce appeared to Dick, the man actively hunting him. "What is it?" Dick asked his adopted father nonchalantly as he stared him down in the alleyway. Bruce launched into his explanation. He told Dick about how Powers was using Gotham City to test his new weapons and how he stole Batman's technology to create those weapons. "So, who's the other Batman?" Dick asked. "McGinnon's son, Terry," Bruce told him. As the two talked, their rich history as Batman and Robin flashed before both men's eyes. "I pushed you away because I wanted to save you," Bruce said to Dick, "but it ended up doing even more harm. I can see that now, but I promise I've always loved you as much as you love your own son. I wish I could have been a better dad, like you." By the end, tears were flowing down Dick's cheeks. He begrudgingly agreed to help Bruce in his efforts to stop Powers, even if he didn't believe in Batman anymore. As Batman and Dick try to reconcile their differences, Jason, Barbara Gann, and Duke Thomas form an alliance at the GCPD. Their primary mission objective was to help Bruce with whatever he was up to, rather than trying to bring him into custody. Deep in the bowels of the Wayne Powers building, however, things were going from bad to worse. Derek Powers, having been melted in a vat of chemicals, was somehow still alive. Powers underwent a strange procedure that put a temporary skin-like shell on his new radioactive body. "It's not a permanent solution to your condition," one of his scientists told him. "I'd like to run some tests," but Powers cut them off. "Run them later. I have work to do." Minutes later, the special task force commanded by Dick Grayson found Jackie, Joker and Harley Quinn's daughter, sneaking through the laboratory and investigating Powers' lies. "Bruce was right. You lied to me," she screamed at Powers as the cops took her into custody. "Lock her up somewhere. We may need a hostage," Powers ordered, but Dick Grayson's arrival put a wrench in the billionaire's plans. Dick leaned up against the wall as Jackie screamed at him, trying to tell him all the information she'd been able to dig up about Powers and his evil schemes. "Don't worry, kid," Dick said calmly. "I'm starting to see the truth, Derek Powers. You're under arrest. You're not in charge anymore, Richard," Powers told him, commanding the rest of Dick's task force to take down their commander himself. Grayson fought off the entire squadron on his own, barely taking a single hit. He ducked and dodged around the laser fire that zapped his way and eventually dove straight out a window to escape. Waiting for him outside dutifully was Bruce, who tossed his old partner a grapple gun mid-air. "Remember how to use one of these?" he asked, half joking, as Dick twisted in the air and the two swung off into the night together. "Bring the Batmobile around," Bruce ordered Joker in his head. "So you're not working alone, are you?" Dick called out to his father. "Not exactly," Bruce said. "And here I thought you were just getting old and muttering to yourself," the former Robin joked. Before long, Powers himself arrived, his skeleton wreathed in green flame. "Derek Powers?" Bruce yelled in surprise at the sight of the dead man walking. "I won't let you destroy it," Powers said, leveling a fist in Bruce's direction. But before anyone could react, Dick stepped out in front of Batman. "Dick, don't!" Bruce exclaimed, but it was too late. The pulse blast that Powers shot towards Batman struck Grayson directly in the chest as Bruce watched helplessly. Amidst the smoke and rubble, Bruce Wayne held his oldest son in his arms as he lay dying. Bruce held Grayson in his arms, Dick's chest still smoking from the sickly energy bolt. "Sensors are picking up massive levels of radiation," Joker informed Bruce as he climbed onto the Batmobile. "Get us out of here!" Batman hollered, and the flying car's engines roared to life. But the unique energy signature of Derek Powers was preventing Bruce, Joker, and Dick from escaping, until Batman Beyond flew into the fray to save his namesake. "Hey, Mr. Powers!" Terry mocked as he careened towards the glowing green megalomaniac. "You feeling okay? Because you look a little green." Terry whipped out one of his wings, sucking Powers right on his skeletal chin. The distraction was enough to allow the Batmobile to fly off, but Terry was alone now without backup. Powers rose slowly and began beating Batman into the dirt with every consecutive blow. "That suit will give you some protection," Powers said as energy ball after energy ball slammed against Terry's armor. "But not for long." Eventually, a spark went through Terry's body as one of Powers' goons took control of the Batman Beyond suit. "Send him after Wayne," Powers ordered. "No!" Terry yelled. "Don't fight this suit, Terry." Powers grinned down at him. "If you do, we'll fold you in half. Backward." Unable to control his own batsuit, Terry was trapped in a prison of armor as his wings unfolded and he flew after the Batmobile. Inside the fleeing vehicle, Joker, unseen but plugged into the electric grid, called Commissioner Gordon and informed her that they were coming in hot with a critical injury on board. Suddenly, a thud from the roof told the Joker and the Bats that they weren't alone. "Terry, what are you doing?" Bruce hollered as he lifted himself onto the roof. "Powers is controlling the suit!" Terry called as his batsuit strode closer and closer to the cockpit. Terry's claws unsheathed, and Batman stared down his successor with grim understanding of what could come next. Bruce ordered Joker to shake Terry off without hurting him. The Batmobile careened wildly through the busy streets. Flying directly through a GCPD blimp finally loosened Terry's grip enough for the Batman Beyond to fall from the Batmobile. A high-speed chase ensued in the skies above Gotham, ending with a well-timed net from Bruce that engulfed Terry and sent him hurtling out of the skies. Smoking, the Batmobile crashed into the roof of the GCPD, and Bruce came running out with a barely conscious Grayson. Barbara took him inside while Bruce turned, knowing Terry would be only moments behind him. When Bruce looked into Terry's eyes, he could see the boy was terrified. Tears shone on his cheeks as he begged. "I'm so scared, Mr. Wade. Please, tell me what to do! Bruce and Joker knew that fighting Batman Beyond one-on-one was a suicide mission, but saw no alternative as they had to give Dick enough time to get medical attention. Bruce leapt towards Terry, whose high-tech batsuit went into autopilot, tearing and smashing into Batman as Bruce desperately tried to mount a defense. Quickly, after a brief but brutal beating, Batman Beyond was holding Bruce by the neck over the side of the building, ready to drop him to his doom. No, please don't make me do this, Mr. Powers, Terry pleaded, horrified as he watched his body perform merciless acts of violence.
It's okay, Terry.
Bruce choked out.
Not your fault.
But before Batman Beyond could drop the original to his death, the squad of Robins arrived and coordinated an assault that took Terry down in mere moments. I might be able to override his programming if you can wire him to the Batmobile, Joker whispered in Bruce's ear. The Robins at Batman's command grappled Terry and carried him to the Batmobile's central control unit. Linking with the suit, Joker was able to extinguish Powers' original programming and give Terry control over his limbs again. Thank you, Mr. Wayne, Terry managed. Don't thank me, Bruce said. Thank him, and pointed to a fully visible Joker who lifted his fist in the air in triumph. All the Robins aimed their weapons at the clown on reflex. Wait, you can all see me? How? Joker cried in delight as he realized everyone else could finally perceive him as well. Inside the GCPD, Dick Grayson had finally regained consciousness. Dad, you're okay, his son called as he ran to his father. Dick, Barbara, and their son Jimmy all embraced on the hospital bed. I love you both so much, Barbara told Dick. I just wanted to be a family again. Dick's face lit up hearing Barbara's words. Really? He said hopefully as the two embraced in a loving kiss. Their first in years. Once the Bat family had finally regrouped, they had pressing matters to discuss. To his former sidekick's astonishment, Bruce opted to let Terry keep the Batman Beyond suit that he had stolen. The hesitation and doubt you're feeling when you look at Terry is exactly what I feel when I look at you, Bruce said. So if you're really committed to what this family stands for, then accept that embracing someone like Terry is part of the deal. Even Harley Quinn arrived at the Batcave to offer her assistance to the rest of the family. So what's the plan? She asked excitedly. Soon enough, Batman had not just his old crew on his side, but much of the GCPD and GTO forces that Barbara and Dick had commanded against him. The Joker was now being holographically projected through the Batman Beyond suit, so he had access to the physical world once more. As Bruce led his newly formed forces out of the cave and towards their final battle against Powers, he offered some sage advice from one Batman to another. It takes more than that suit to make you Batman, Terry. You'll see. The Wayne Powers building was on high alert. Perhaps no building in history was as well defended as the laboratory, as it prepared for the Bat family to arrive. Finally, their radars pinged what they expected all along. Batman Beyond, flanked by the flying Batmobile, approached. But unexpectedly, another Batmobile joined the fray, as Bruce had broken out his original vehicle for this climactic final battle. Batman, his wife Harley, and the AI-projected consciousness of the Joker all crammed inside the original Batmobile as it dropped to the ground and raced towards the building at full speed. Suddenly, the two vehicles started taking fire. The Batmobile hurtled past Powers' defenses and quickly made its way into the inner sanctum. Both Duke Thomas and Gann took more of an indirect approach, jumping the bridge as it raised up to keep out intruders. Before long, the skies were alight with bullets as the Bat family warred against the Powers Corporation. The Bats were outnumbered to be sure, but they fought with a bravery and an ingenuity that Derek Powers couldn't have mustered if he tried. Even after he deployed an army of Bat mechs, Bruce, Terry, and Harley made short work of them as they carved their way towards the main control center. Joker was tasked with finding his daughter, while Bruce and Harley raced off deeper into the lab. Dick Grayson, suited up as Nightwing once more, worked with Red Hood to force their way into the building. They met with Bruce and Harley quickly, but all four were blasted into the air as the Batmechs arrived to put an end to the infiltration. As all hell broke loose, Harley grabbed Bruce and shoved something into his hand. The mask, Bruce realized. She brought it. He took his old mask from her and pulled it onto his face, standing up once more as the full embodiment of the Batman. Batman dove into action without hesitation. He single-handedly disrupted the mech's attack formation, allowing his former sidekicks enough breathing room to get back into the fight. The mechs didn't stand a chance. Batman hadn't moved so fast or ferociously in years, and the mask breathed new life into Bruce's distraught demeanor. Meanwhile, Batman Beyond was tearing through the facility in his own fashion. Eventually, he came across across Mr. Powers, who shot Terry out of the air with a single power blast. With some fast talking, the Joker managed to convince Powers that he was double-crossing the Bat family at last. When Terry saw his opening, Joker took control of Powers' device and Batman Beyond smashed it into a million pieces. Not only did Joker help Terry permanently free his own Batsuit from outside control, but Mr. Powers' altered state could no longer be held together without the technology keeping him stable. Powers seeped into the floor, decomposing and burning away. For a moment, Terry considered ending Powers' life then and there, but at the last second, he thought better of it. "No," Terry said. "Batman doesn't kill. I won't let you tarnish what Bruce and the others have created." Piloting the Batmobile, the Joker wrecked his way into the heart of the facility and found his daughter being guarded by two easily disposable guards. After explaining to his very confused daughter that he wasn't dead and was in fact a sentient computer program, the father-daughter duo sped off to take down Powers' army of machines from the inside. Upstairs, Batman and his entire family slowly worked their way through an entire legion of heavily armed soldiers. They fought hard and valiantly, but eventually the sheer numbers overwhelmed them. Laser sights by the dozens were pointed towards the Bat family, and their backs were against the wall.
Get behind me.
Batman growled, putting himself between his loved ones and the bullets trained on them. Suddenly, the mechs all powered down at the same time. Their machine guns cooled, and the entire army halted in unison. "Jack, he did it!" Harley called out right as her daughter walked out of the shadows and ran to give her mom a big hug. "Dad saved me! He even drove me around in the Batmobile," she hollered with glee. After the entire ordeal was over, the Batman and his family stood together as the facility was raided by the police. Powers was arrested and locked in stasis, while the rest of the company was shut down permanently.
"You'll be a great addition to the family,"
Bruce said as he turned to Terry. "This mean you finally accepted your legacy as Batman?" Barbara asked him with a smile. Bruce looked down thoughtfully.
"It's not really my legacy anymore," he said. "Batman belongs to all of us."
Moments later, Diana Prince from the federal government approached Batman. "We have a proposition for you, Mr. Wayne," she said. "There's this kid in Kansas who can do some pretty amazing things, and there's only one thing we know for certain. He's not from around here." She turned a screen towards Batman, one that showed the bright blue and red uniform of the Man of Steel. Batman of Steel was once the Joker, and not just him, but the whole Justice League.